Therapy. So this is a therapy episode of Home Movies. And,
Wait, announce yourself.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I play Melissa.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I play Brandon.
Hi, I'm Loren, and I play Josie.
We're all actors.
Welcome to
This is
Actors
the President
Studio.
King that is shrinking.
Oh, I like this movie.
I used
Great costumes.
Yeah. Right, this is where one of those episodes where the kids didn't have scotch tape and cardboard.
Yeah.
Somehow they had an incredible costume.
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
I think left to their own devices, the animators will make elaborate choices.
But look at the background, crayon on cardboard.
Crayon on cover.
The subplot is they had a little funding for this film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes they were able to go into that dress-up box.
Exactly. Fake mustache.
What's going on
Get
with
the
the
Wait,
crown.
it's Frozen.
Oh,
Nope, maybe it's not.
I use it because it's fun. You use it because
This is
the audio's rolling.
the audios. Anyway, so one thing about doing home movies was that it really was doing it in a vacuum, especially up until the second season at least, where I don't think we were getting that much feedback from any public people, and still that happens where there's no feedback.
Absolutely. I am still not positive that
anyone
ever
has
aired.
Yes, exactly. I still have the theory that it was a reality show. That
Right,
the
about
cartoon
us making
never
it.
existed, and all of us were the kind of marks, as they say, in the business.
I pretty much the whole time didn't think anyone was watching it.
If there wasn't
and
the
we were just
internet,
making it for us.
No, but
there
it's,
wasn't those boards.
it's also true that nobody was watching.
Right. Well, that's probably why we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if this were like, we'd be Family Guy if people were watching it.
Yeah.
But it's really like, just having said that, there's no pressure of like expectation from an audience.
Right.
So there was this kind of feeling that home movies from episode to episode can grow and become its own kind of thing, and kind of find its own way, in storytelling and character and everything, which is like something that the second season, like the whole point to me, like in retrospect, the second season was just opening up the world just a little bit more, and giving character a little bit more to kind of like sink their teeth into, and putting more characters in, like Lyndon and Walter and Perry and Fenton and all these people.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dad.
And the dad. And this was
Brendan's dad.
yes, Brendan's dad. Yeah. So this is an episode with a dad, and this actually came just the whole notion of this was that kind of therapy. My parents went through some kind of like empty nest kind of therapy thing to like learn how to talk to each other, or to learn how to use words, like really nice words with horrible subtext underneath
Is
it.
this Patrick Borelli playing the therapist?
This is Patrick Borelli, a
And
friend of mine.
Laura Silverman.
And Laura
playing
Silverman.
The mom.
That's right.
Yes, playing
Stepmom.
yes, the soon-to-be stepmom.
This is probably when we had to get an
Okay,
exception
okay.
to get 3 guest stars, because this
Yes.
is Louis C.K. as the dad.
The very
Yes.
funny, probably one of the funniest people in the world,
With
stand-up-wise,
Andy
Louis C.K.
Kindler.
In addition to Andy Kindler,
Superlatives.
Emo Phillips, and everybody else.
Everybody else.
But I mean,
Yeah.
but honestly, probably one of the most gifted stand-ups
Yeah.
like in America.
Yes.
the
The guy who I went to see the night that I saw you.
Yes, that was Ron Lynch and Louis C.K. were performing the same night, and there's a part of me that knew that and wanted to do something with Ron Lynch so that you would maybe associate me with him.
Wow. Well,
I don't know if that's true.
It worked out
Sounds like
really
it
well.
would work though.
Yeah.
So there's Laura Silverman.
So funny. And
Yeah, but like just that nitpicky bickering part of the relationship that like sometimes just doesn't go away, and they're trying to attack this now before they get married,
right.
and trying to involve Brendon in some way
Right.
as this kind of half-hearted bullshit kind of
Make it
therapy.
family therapy.
Yeah, it's like if you wanted to try, you would try it instead of like paying some guy to like videotape you and tell you how to say things in a nice way, you know. And that's all it is. It does not attack the problem. It attacks the language, which I think is hilarious. So I went home after college. At one point, my parents were trying to like tell me how to speak to them in this way that they had learned how to speak to each other, and it was the funniest misuse of like language therapy that I'd ever seen, or and it was great because you can say like, I feel that it would be in your best interest if you could give me that tea over there. Instead of like, pass the tea, you dumb jerk, I hate you. Like, that's the subtext.
It's
like,
just learning how
do
to not
you
yell
think
at
you
each other.
can find within the niceness? And like, it's like, it's all this kind of like tension underneath the surface of like, boiling to like the forefront. But that's what this whole episode is. It's just a theme-based episode, which I thought was just it's a chamber drama in a lot of ways, where it doesn't leave this room. You've got the movie and kind of like what's happening here, and a little bit of Paula, who's kind of like, this is a new experience for her too, which is that she has to kind of give her son away, share him again, and
no, I don't mind giving it, but
no, we don't.
But Patrick Morelli is such a goofball. He is
such a great
I started doing stand-up with him in Boston, and he's got this very unique delivery, and it's amazingly kind of like perfectly flat for this character, like in this really nice way.
No, we don't.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
It's just so kind of strange and like not necessarily condescending or anything.
I like that they gave him that leather jacket and that ponytail,
in the
too.
background.
It's a really nice scene.
It's just like
Yeah?
Coach, are we in
Brendon.
trouble?
I want you two to look at my gums. I want to look at the I can't see them from
right. This is
hilarious.
that's a classic Melissa. Ooh.
Ew.
There's a classic.
It's hilarious that he calls him over to the sideline.
Right.
Why don't you just go to the dentist?
I hate the dentist.
Me too, because every time I go to the dentist, my tongue gets depressed.
No, there's something that's something I had a huge issue with.
That you
Was
told
every
her?
time Brendon did anything mildly stupid that they crossed his eyes like he's Jerry Lewis.
Right.
Do you remember that? Like but that was something I think I would always filter through Lord to say nicely to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
You would use
can
that
we?
gentle
Can we not?
talk
Yeah, I would use gentle talk.
that you
Yeah.
heard so long ago.
Perhaps you might be able to not
Not
cross his
cross
eyes.
Might
eyes.
possibly not cross his eyes every time he says something frighteningly stupid, because there is a dumb like low key joke in there,
Yeah.
but like when he like sticks his tongue out and crosses his eyes, oh, still mildly maddening
And I
to this
like
day,
how-
17 years later.
I like how they each have a huge bowl and she's finished, right?
They're doing food therapy right there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
So
an
it's
animation
cute. It's
decision.
really cute that they have a blanket.
A little
over it, too.
blankie over the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, that's
Really
funny with
sweet.
like
Sweet.
little popcorn
Yeah.
on top of it. Yeah.
Person like you really should.
So this is them kind of
Right.
implementing their
And is
gentle
this
talk.
music you did in the background?
This is
And how was your day, Linda?
It's just got a little lower.
I think it's
Yeah.
a Joe Beam
Yeah.
thing.
right. That was the kind of hot dog song, which I think, the fake Joe Beam, like one take, like fake lyrics, kind of like. And then in the beginning was a really bad rendition of some kind of classical guitar thing that I think I played 40 times and like just could not play. I like wrote something I couldn't do.
This is where she goes to the car and then she comes back.
Needs
Yeah,
keys.
she needs the
And she comes
keys.
back again for something. Doesn't know where the park is. Something.
Right. Yeah.
Got in early. I talked to a few clients. I have a case next week. And no, not
He's a
next
lawyer,
week,
the
in a week and a
father,
half.
right?
Gotten an act?
Yes. Corporate lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You interrupted me, honey.
well, the whole idea with building this kind of character is something that we were all kind of. It was something we wanted to make sure everyone.
I'm sorry.
would
I was just
agree
laughing
with.
because I just saw Brendon eat butter off the fork.
It's
Go
little
ahead.
things like that. But we wanted to make sure that, like, it's kind of funny because when we introduced the notion of a father, like even when Paula Poundstone was in the show, and like what was Dad like and blah blah blah. And
We talked about it a lot.
And we talked
We
about
wanted
it
to-
from day one, like
Yeah.
this
Was he an artist? Was he
Exactly.
or was he the opposite? Was he some
Right.
stiff
exactly.
corporate type?
Which
And
he was.
and we kind of made him that.
Yeah.
You can see why the marriage didn't work.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where he is a nice guy and everything, but he's also more of a child than Brendon is, as an adult,
Oh, look at that! What the hell's going on over there?
It's one of those things, like if you watch home movies with the sound off, you realize how many things are pulling focus.
Yes,
So everything's being upstaged,
Yeah.
like literally,
Right.
like
That's adorable.
They're under the table.
Really
Yeah.
cute. It was sort of on the banquette. This
It's-
is shooting.
and
down.
also the look of the father was something that was kind of like talked about for a long time, and they ended up going with this Peter Tork vibe from the Monkees, which is this like just completely like this orangey.
Yeah.
Well, he's the same
Like,
hair as Brendon.
yeah.
He's got red hair.
Makes sense.
I know, but it really I love the Peter Tork. I think he was more Peter Tork, and they had less that Peter Torkified him.
You know, I don't want to sound ungrateful.
Great effects.
So again, like it's just that
Yes.
paralleling kind of like
It's a little dark and
theme
musty
where
in there.
Brendan is
Disappearing.
shrinking,
Yes.
disappearing,
Yes, and
in
no bed is too
his
big now that you've
his
taken up
father's
shrinking.
thing.
Thing
The
called
animators
life.
had to figure out how the kids would shoot this stuff. So this is all sort of.
It's really
Mapped
well
out,
done, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it is kind of like
Can one of you just pass me the soup and the eyedropper,
when-
please?
They're very clever kids.
The soup in the eyedropper.
Yeah.
You mean my
So it
Yeah.
turns into
the turkey baster, yeah. very clever. That's how they would have to do it.
Great animation.
Not for long.
I really like him as this foppish character. That's really great.
Yeah.
My mind or a YouTube.
I love that Jason is a great actor. I think we talked about
Yeah,
this in the
Jason is
first-
like,
Yes,
he
he's a
truly
really
is
good
like
actor.
a gifted
Yes.
actor.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling
very
that
funny.
you are plotting against me.
You must be out of your mind, my lord.
This is funny, and then they start plotting.
Right in front of
And
him.
then the movie will smash him over, yeah.
Yeah.
You're crazy, my lord. I think you're overtired. Maybe you should get some sleep so we can smash you.
That's
Yes.
so
Just said
funny.
get some sleep so we can smash you.
Oh, okay, well, that's all right. Hey, wait a minute, I'm not sleepy.
I'd like to
Oh, the joke is,
Oh,
he says,
he's
wait a minute,
showing
I'm not
this-
sleeping, and
Right.
falls asleep immediately.
And he's showing it to the therapist.
Yeah.
Which character I think is the most interesting?
Oh, this is when Brendan just doesn't get it either.
President King, yeah, that's my favorite.
Is this where he rebels against therapy?
Oh, no, not yet.
I said
Is that the
Don't
climax?
give it away.
He says, like, basically says, like, who do you think is I think your character is the most interesting. He goes, yes, well, thank you. And he takes
He
it as a
thinks
compliment.
that,
He goes,
yeah.
no.
Right.
He goes,
Not a critique.
He's paranoid.
and he says that, like, and he keeps saying, like, this is representing you right now. And he's like, no, I wrote that way.
Is this the McGurk sidetrack plot line?
Is his dentist.
Is his teeth?
The dentist.
It was just his own thing. I think it was just like, this is an episode, to everyone's credit, like, the team of home movies is always, like, just very passionate about everything. But when I showed this episode, or they heard the audio, the animators were very unhappy
Was
with
this the one?
This was the one where the message was,
Make it more fun.
no, it wasn't make it more funny. It was more like, I think the direct quote was, "We think it stinks."
Yeah, that might have been.
Yeah.
have to
I won't name any names, but because it was all in good fun and everything. But
I think we had a
the
I
reason
think
was
that was
because
the filtered
there was
message that I sent you. I think it was.
no.
harsher.
I got it straight from the horse's mouth. Like me being like point blank, like swat in the face. But
It's hard to just listen to it over and over and over.
well, it was like it was more. I mean, it wasn't action driven, and we were kind of starting to lean towards action driven kind of things. And here she is making margaritas or
Drinking
whatnot, like
again.
daiquiris.
She's got a different outfit on.
Yeah, showing a little
little
skin.
midriff.
Yeah,
That's it. See ya.
but
So funny.
Oh, he's in a sandbox.
That's awesome.
No, you are
that's
not.
again very penis looking,
What's his face
the Snoopy head up
Well,
kind of look.
Dr. What's his face is wrong. Your father
But yeah, this was the
So
episode
they
where
didn't like it.
to your father
I think that they got it and everything, but I think it wasn't as silly as like the party or something. So I think that they're like, the animation team would break off into two groups, and half of them would get one episode, and the other half would get another. So I think like all of them would be looking over their shoulders and looking at the fun of the other
Right,
episode.
right.
And meanwhile, there is something that's close to a chamber drama
Yeah.
happening that is kind of like. If you look at it under a magnifying glass, kind of dark undertones of like a family falling apart and like,
Right, because we were always simultaneously doing 2 episodes.
Right. And the other thing was that just with the kind of arc of
I have no idea.
the dad, Andrew, and his fiance was that we wanted to show every episode that she is just not the right girl for him,
Or for anyone.
For anyone, yeah. And they were just like, she's like basically, half his age, and he just, likes her because she's pretty.
It's called a trophy wife.
Yeah,
I
and
hope to be one someday.
me too.
Me too. I think it's also fair to say that, we were learning how to do like a more nuanced, layered
Yeah.
episode, and it's certainly absolutely, I think, true that in the second season some of these, we could reapproach the same material probably now and do it with a little more touch, put a little more spin on the ball, so that you would get to enjoy some of those same scenes, but maybe somehow we would give you. Something in the next scene, or I think there was some like pacing issues that the animators probably sensed intuitively.
Yeah,
that we
this
were
one
working
probably
towards.
felt a little bit slower than some of the other ones, because we were definitely going at a faster speed, like a consciously faster speed, and that was like and that was working nicely to everyone's credit.
Yeah, no, we kept getting faster in the third season. I think you'll see. Please, dear God, if there's a DVD set, you'll see that we finally, I think, hit a pace.
We hit the pace that we were all kind of like, oh, this is home movies. This is what the show should have been the whole time. And then that's when we started getting some people that had been watching the show. We find out and go like, no!
I know. The fans
Episode
that we had.
1!
Yes, I was going to say that when you were talking about whether or not we were aware of anyone watching it. I feel like the internet finally became this real thing, right while we were in the middle.
Which is a dangerous thing.
It was
too.
interesting to finally be able to hear voices of the fans, and it was true that there was one guy who wrote passionately about how he missed the squiggle.
Yeah.
Right,
About
That's
how
right. I do remember
he
that.
was going to kill himself.
Yeah.
And then home movies came on. He loved it so much, and then they stopped the squiggle, and he hated it.
Right.
And it was
The squiggle turned his life around.
yes, and then we stopped it.
Yeah, well,
this season.
again, that's the thing
And
is
he
that
killed
like
himself.
here's the weirdest thing about home movies is I think some people do it for a demographic and some people do it to please like the whoever the advertisers are, but I think home movies was something we were doing for ourselves.
Yeah.
In a lot of
Clearly.
ways. So yeah, I mean clearly. I mean look how long this scene is. I mean, but it really was like a thing where I think it would have been dangerous.
People
for
lie down a lot in this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It's a
Brendon's-
therapy thing.
Yeah, but I
Right?
mean, he's not lying down in therapy, but he's lying down in every other scene.
Because McGurk is his real therapist.
This is a great thing. Is these two people
You
who.
are so right about
I
that.
know.
It is true. Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
Patrick.
Now we're cooking.
Now
Yeah.
we're cooking.
Having them try to be nice to each other, like forcing them to like fake be
I
nice.
like
And I love how
Chairs.
she's always dressed.
She's always like dressed in an evening gown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's,
Try again.
Yeah.
I like also in that last scene was that little subtext that Brendon is attracted to her.
Yes.
I forget if you said.
Oh yeah, no,
We
that was
saw
very
him
funny.
envision
That
her
was
in
the
a
thing.
towel.
Yeah. I
That was the
liked
thing
it
is we
so much.
wanted him to hate her, but also I think she was like the hottest thing he's ever seen in his life.
It's great.
Which is just a strange,
Yeah.
because kids think that women are hot. I mean,
Sure.
like it happens. I was a kid. I thought
You thought women were hot.
women were hot,
Yeah.
hot stuff.
Yeah, it's a complex emotion.
No, it's
Hate
pretty
her.
simple.
No,
Yeah.
but to hate her, and it's his dad's girlfriend, and he
she's hot.
lusts for
Yes,
her.
and he actually has an 8-year-old lust after her.
Yes.
But I was saying, it's funny. I think the internet has changed art in a lot of ways, where like people get their hands on what everyone is saying or thinking about it, and they actually change their product based on
Right.
what the audience wants. Like bands do it, I think, all the time, and I think it's a sacrilege. I think they should
No, I disagree because here's what I, as a person who is not a performer, I don't go on stage.
Right.
This is an incredibly rare experience to see an episode of a cartoon that I've done in a group, either with just two people or, so occasionally we'd have like a party at Tom Snyder Productions or whatever and have a group watch the episode. And it was so weird because
Yeah,
you'd
I
actually
hate
get to
it.
see where people, I loved it. You get to see where people laugh
hate
and you
it.
No,
get to
I-
experience their pleasure.
I think
And
that's
what's nice about the internet is you can kind of have little more vicarious.
That's not what I'm
audience.
saying though. What I'm saying is that after the fact, or if you did have a
To see
clear
their
thing
comments and then change
to
what
change,
you're doing
like
because of it.
out of like a fear-based thing rather than like no, I think it's great to test anything. I think that's great, and I think getting any kind of like accolades over the internet, of course, who doesn't want that? I don't want that.
Brendon wants to believe the good press
Yeah.
and not the bad
All right.
press.
Well, no, I think that there are some things where like if you do have like if you are kind of like in a show that's in its infancy and it's starting to kind of gain some like direction or some like creative momentum, and it's starting to have like a very kind of like and here we are like 5 people in a room making a cartoon that we think no one's watching. I think there's something kind of romantic about that. You know what I mean? And if it does catch on, it's great. And if it doesn't, that's also something else. But if it's something that we all believe in, that's wonderful.
Right.
But I do think if there was an opportunity to screen these things and to find out where the laughs were,
Yeah.
that would have been great.
You mean before it aired?
Yeah.
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 I mean, that would be a luxury that I think most like production schedules don't allow for.
No, it's true. Except for sitcoms, which are filmed in front of a live
Right.
audience.
Sitcoms
They
also
can
have
change
some kind of a
things.
budget behind it. And
Yeah.
I mean, they'll
Change
spend
things on the
they'll spend like
spot.
5 months on one. Not much, but
Well, Dick
But I
and
heard-
Paula was filmed before a about audience.
you know what I'm
That's the
thinking
only
about?
animation for
I'm thinking
live
about
audience.
the band Weezer. That's what I was thinking. No, I'm seriously. Like they started
The
listening.
opinions expressed in these commentaries are
I know. No.
That of Shout Factory?
No, I
Time
love the
Study.
band Weezer, but I think when they started listening to like a bunch of people online saying like what's good about them and what's bad about them, they started listening to them, and I think it kind of conflicted with what they were great at, and unfortunately,
So
So
you
this
wrote in
whole-
and told them.
so I wrote in.
on their
No,
forum.
Wow,
But
I
I-
never knew how strongly you felt about the whole Weezer
What I
thing.
just say?
I really like the band Weezer a lot.
Why don't we start with?
Well, I enjoy. I was glad once there was a place
I do,
to go
you
and
know
see
what?
where the fans were and what they were talking about. And I always felt I took it with a grain of salt. I feel like it's not necessarily all the fans. There's certainly a kind of an audience that probably would never go online. And,
I'm not even saying that about home movies. I'm saying that about just the genre
general.
is like, yeah, about Weezer. But I think
For
no,
those
I
of
think you and I
for
learned a
those of you
huge
at
lesson.
home, Brendan's wearing a Weezer T-shirt right now.
Yes,
And
and
has a
I
big X
and I
on it.
have an inhaler too, yeah,
He
because I am
took duct
wheezing.
tape and made a big X over it.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned, which is also kind of a painful one, was when we got reviewed for the first time, which I think it was good to read that stuff because I think half the time you and I agreed with like what they thought was not great
Well,
about
it
the
seemed
show.
like most of our reviews.
And then
were
some
about-
things were like you either get it or you don't, and then also upon like getting it, there are like faults to the show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You're right. You can love the show and still not love an episode or not love a scene.
Right, exactly.
But it was it seemed like a very.
Having said that, I don't
low-key-
think this is a very well received episode.
I'm
No,
not
which
sure
is
why
one of the
we
reasons
picked
I
it.
wanted to talk over it because I do think it's it's a combination of intent and kind of like and execution. You know.
He's not wearing his shoulder belt.
Yeah, he's only wearing his lap belt.
Yeah.
I guess that's legal.
Technically, he should still be in the back seat.
That
What
was
were you gonna say?
maybe an animator, yes. Well,
I don't know. There are like 5 things I was going to say that Brendan cut me off on.
Taking you to your mother's.
What? People at home, you know what I'm talking about. You hear I keep starting to talk, and Brendan cuts me off.
so Weezer.
Oh,
you-
you
But
shrunk
that's cool.
No, I was wearing a Weezer shirt. That was your last thing. Go ahead. No, expound on
No,
that.
no,
yeah.
there were a couple other times I tried to jump in there. But no, go ahead, Brendan.
Yes.
More.
No, I'm listening.
If it's not too much.
No,
See how they figured out how to do this?
Melissa, let's
Lauren's
talk.
the peacemaker, changing the subject.
This baby's got a lot of pockets. The ring, please, I say.
Go ahead, Melissa. The
I
floor is yours.
can't. No,
I'm waiting. No, I want to hear what
No,
you're saying.
honestly, I can't remember anymore what.
It was the Weezer shirt. That's
It
all you got.
wasn't. It was
Honestly,
about the reviews.
rewind the DVD. That's all you had was
It
the
was
Weezer
about
shirt. That's the
that.
only thing you've
Do
got
you
on
really
me.
want to end this DVD fighting?
I'm
Do you
just-
want to
I'm
go
not even
over
gonna
credits
fight.
fighting?
I have a Weezer shirt on, and it's crossed out according to you.